Hello there. Welcome to Slay the Spire. It's morning, so I can't talk. Yeah, we're just gonna play some Slay the Spire. Fingers crossed that my PC doesn't run into any issues today with the stream, because it's the last 2 streams and 3 out of the last 4 streams, it has decided that it just loves to crash. Or, I say crash, I mean lock up. And I have a hunch as to what's causing the issue, and I can't fix it right now. So, hopefully today is gonna be like the 1 out of the last 4 streams that doesn't cause issues. Slay the Spire is not that intensive, so we should be fine. You may also recall, last time I did Slay the Spire, I'm pretty sure it was last time, I did essentially an evaluation of like all the cards in the game. I kind of also wanted to do the same thing with the relics. Because there's a few relics here that are definitely worth evaluating. But before we do that, I just wanted to play some of the game. Part of that is to make the stream go on longer so that if it's gonna crash, it has an opportunity to do so. So let's hop right in with the Ironclad. Probably my favorite character in the game, just because there's some insane strength builds you can have. Although, the other day, I had a really insane game with the Watcher. In fact, let me see if I can find it for y'all right now. It was... what is it? Statistics? Run history. Yeah, it wasn't the Ironclad. We were looking for... was it this one? No, that's not it. Watcher... Ironclad. We'll find it. We will find it. Was it this one? No, actually. This was it. This was the insane run I had. I made it to floor 50, got killed by the Awakened one. But... no, thank you for the Hydrate Rumble. This was my deck. 39 cards, 6 rares, and at the start of the game, I relic swapped, and it got Snecko Eye. This relic, I've been playing a little bit more with that relic, actually, and it's starting to grow on me. It's a pretty good relic, actually. So here's what happened. I had, and you can see all the relics I had over here. I had, where was it? What's a card called? Omniscience. 2 copies of Omniscience. And I did not upgrade it because I figured with Snecko Eye, any upgrades that involve reducing the cost of a card are worthless. So I didn't do that. I just had 2 copies of Omniscience. I also had, you know, Deva Form, which is pretty good with the Snecko Eye because after a certain point, Deva Form just gives you all the energy you need to play all the cards, no matter if they all cost 3 energy to play. Had a Judgment Plus, that didn't really come into... it came into play occasionally, but this one specific turn... also Wish Plus. I had Wish Plus. So this one turn... I don't even remember what I did with the rest of the turn. This is all I did with 0 energy. I started the game with Omniscience in my hand, and it cost 0. Because of Snecko Eye, because of confusion. So I play the 0 cost Omniscience. What card do I get with that Omniscience, you might ask? Well, I got the other Omniscience. And that means you play it twice, right? You search up the other Omniscience and then play that Omniscience twice. So the other 2 cards that I got with that Omniscience, that I then played twice with those, were Deva Form, that I played twice, and Wish Plus, that I played twice. And what I did was I got the 4 strength and the 8 blade armor. I kind of took a balanced approach to on one hand, have a solid defense, but on the other hand, being able to absolutely demolish my opponent with a good offense. So that was the deck. I was really hoping that deck could ascend, but no, unfortunately we lost. Anyway, let's hop into the game. Let's play the Ironclad because that's the one that I'm actually the most experienced with. So, hello there, Meow. What do we got? So we got colorless card, random common relic. We can transform 2 cards for a curse, or we can relic swap. Thing is, I kind of really see the value in Burning Blood. Like, a relic swap could be very good. I could end up with a relic that gives me 1 extra energy. But no, let's go with the common relic and hope we get something decent and not, like, not all that great. Ooh, we got something very decent, the Bag of Marbles. Start each combat, making all my enemies vulnerable, or it just eats up a relic. That, not a relic, an artifact. That is great. Alright, so what can we do? So no matter what, I'm gonna hit an elite. Maybe I'll go here where I get the second elite after a fireplace. Then fireplace, elite, onwards. That's our plan. So we'll hit up 3 elites and a couple fireplaces, and hopefully that should be good enough. So what do we do? Yeah, strike with vulnerable is 9 damage. So we can absolutely kill you. I kind of want to play a little bit defensively so I can heal off this HP. Alright, strike. Second strike doesn't really matter all that much. I'll probably draw either 2 strikes or a bash next turn. So let's just go full defend. And yep, there we go. Down you go. Okay. Cleave, Perfected Strike. I like Perfected Strike. It's a neat card that incentivizes a certain deck building philosophy, I guess, which is, well, not really philosophy, just a certain deck building focus, which is you take every card that has a word strike. So, hell yeah, we're gonna take that. Remove a card. So we don't want to remove any strikes. Maybe I could remove a defend, but that's a little bit risky. But you know what, we're gonna do it. So goodbye defend. Alright. Jawworm. Play a bit defensively. There's our Perfected Strike. Yeah, when you first get Perfected Strike... Hello, Maxigaller. When you first get Perfected Strike, it does 18 damage for 2 energy, which is pretty efficient. Oh, speaking of strike cards, there's Wild Strike. Yeah, this card, you're essentially playing 2 strikes for the cost of 1, with the downside of guaranteeing a dead draw. But that's pretty decent, so we'll take it. Let's head here. Aha! Slap you up a bit. And you're a goner. Hell yeah. Ooh. I really like Inflame. I also really like Infernal Blade. But I think we have to take Twin Strike to keep that scaling going. Plus, Twin Strike on its own is just a good card. Alright, take the tiny chest. This isn't the best relic, but it's good to get early on. Yeah, I'll probably need some block. It'll be fine. Normally I would wait to kind of get a bash on this guy, but I don't want to let this vulnerable go to waste. We're gonna have to try to race. This is not gonna be fun. This guy hurts a lot. Alright. Well, we got it. Not too... Ooh! Ice cream! Hell yeah! Ooh, interesting. Okay. Demon form's pretty cool, but I don't think it really supports what I'm doing. And you are right, Max, I do need block. And I like Ghostly Armor for how efficient it is, so we'll take that. Move on, do some smithing, get that Perfected Strike better. Alright, next elite. What's it gonna be? Okay, Gremlin Knob. We might be able, if we get lucky. Okay, we didn't really get lucky. So next turn we're definitely drawing Perfected Strike, and that should be, yep, we got through him without taking any damage. Ooh, Red Skull. I do like the Red Skull. Honestly, I'll get rid of that elixir for the skill potion. Ooh, interesting. So fire breathing can be really good in the right deck. Carnage is nice, but I don't think it scales well. I have been streaming since April 1st of this year. And the overlays, I commissioned someone to make them for me. They're actually relatively recent. I got them within a month. Yeah, fire breathing with Wild Strike is good. My problem is I only have like the one Wild Strike, and I guess Ascender's Bane. I'm kind of leaning towards Bloodletting, because that extra energy is pretty decent. Yeah, I'll take Bloodletting. Let's head this way so we can hit up that fireplace. Pen Nib, nice. Alright. Now this is unfortunately one of the turns where me taking Bloodletting kind of screws me over. Unless... You know what? We have the potion, we're gonna use it. Alright, there we go. Cleave. I really don't want to be exhausting cards when I'm hoping for Perfected Strike to do its job, so we'll take Cleave. It's good to get some AoE. Alright. Upgrade Cleave. That's solid. Wild Strike Plus does a ton. Bash. Bloodletting. Our Act 1 boss is this guy. Upgraded ghostly armor. I like to. I kind of like to upgrade that one, but now that I think about it, the extra 3 block isn't that much. Let's do Wild Strike. Because we've got a number of cards that can do vulnerable. Well, we've got Bash that does vulnerable, and we've got the Bag of Marbles. So, Wild Strike on a vulnerable enemy is just really good. So 17, 25 damage for 1 energy. Hell yeah. Block up. And there we go. Oh, power through. Now that is making me wish I did take the fire breathing earlier. But yeah, we're taking that. Let's take on another elite. It's the Lagavulin again. I'll say goodbye to Ghostly Armor because we're not gonna play it this turn, which means we'll lose it. Ooh, I should have waited for the Pen Nib. I always forget about Pen Nib. We've got to kill, yeah. Turnip! Hell yeah. Well, let's take another Wild Strike. Well, let's Ghostly Armor. Go for the one that's buffing itself this turn. Cool. So let's strike you, cleave. Twin strike. We can't kill you. I kind of want to save the potions. Alright. Let's see. Whirlwind. Whirlwind is pretty good. So let's upgrade. What do we want to upgrade? Because Power Through, giving you 20 block is really solid. But Whirlwind Plus. I mean, I gotta go for Whirlwind Plus, right? Alright. What's the best way to do this? So he'll transform with that. Would it? I mean, I know I don't really have that many skills, but I find Clash is really bad with Power Through. And I don't have any way to get rid of my wounds just yet. Let's see. Yeah, so Twin Strike will make him transform. Wild Strike definitely will. Strike won't. And Cleave. 12 damage? Okay, so we'll Cleave. And then, let's see. 14 or 18. There we go. And no reason to play it because remember, we've got Ice Cream. We're not getting through that block. Alright. Ghostly Armor. Perfected Strike. And then Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that's a pretty good combo. Alright, we're gonna take some damage here. We might drink our block potion this turn. But for now, get in all the damage we can. Alright. Well, this isn't great, but we can avoid taking damage. Alright, sweet bash. I'll strike plus. Again, the proc! Oh my gosh. I should have waited. I can never keep a track of these. Alright, let's avoid taking damage. There we go. Definitely could have done that fight better, but I think I did a solid job. Immolate. Oh, hell yeah. I do like Immolate. Double tap is really good too. Exhume I'm not really convinced with, especially not with my deck. Yeah, we'll take Immolate. Ooh, okay. Sozu can give me extra energy, but it has a downside. Yeah, I really should have taken Fire Breathing back then. Black Star is nice, but I kind of like Black Blood. So we'll take the Black Blood. Just for that extra healing. Keep me alive, because I do now have cards that deal damage to myself. Alright, where should we go? Uh-huh. Cool. Kind of thinking the middle path. Yeah, middle path, we've got shop, fireplace, and by this point we'll make a decision of whether or not we want to try for 2 elites or just take the fireplace and 1 elite. Yeah, that's a question. I don't really like to take on too many elites in Act 2 because they're pretty tough. Let's block. Okay, interesting. Let's immolate. Okay, so I can Twin Strike and Bloodletting Whirlwind. Well, you're taking on a bit of damage. Yeah, I feel that. I've definitely... So my kind of curve as I've played this game was... Early on, I would just avoid every elite. Because I'm like, well, they're super powerful, so why would I fight them? Let's go... Sword Boomerang is pretty good with the pen nib and my ability to apply vulnerable. But I do think I need more block. Yeah, I'll take Shrug off. Yeah, like, when I first started playing, I'm like, okay, avoid every elite because they're all tough fights, and I will absolutely die. Then I was like, well, maybe the strategy should be to go for every single elite so I can learn how to fight them and get high risk, high reward. And now I kind of take a more balanced approach. Like, I won't go for every single elite, but I'll definitely go for a good number. Uh-huh. Do we risk it? I kind of want to risk it. It's like a 50-50 shot of, yeah. Let's go for it. High risk, high reward. Damn it. Okay, well, let's see. What do we go? I usually just like to pick up relics at the shop. We don't have anything we really want to remove. I'll take the oddly smooth stone. 1 dexterity really adds up. The abacus is also pretty nice. What about cards? Pummel's solid. Uppercut's pretty good. I also like Infernal Blade. I will... I think I want to go for Uppercut. Get more ways of applying Vulnerable. And we can still take the Abacus if we want. So let's do that. Metallicize... It's decent. Yeah, fuck it, why not? Alrighty. Yeah, let's... Oh wait, pen nib. Right? Is that the way it works? Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Can we kill him this turn? Maybe, so... Wild Strike. No, that's not a kill. Also, I should drink this just... Okay. Oh, Ghostly Armor, Twin Strike. Well, thank you for the follow. I'm just here to say E. Alright. Inflame. I mean, we got a few cards that get better with Inflame. Like Whirlwind Plus, Twin Strike, and... Did I not take Sword Boomerang? I could have sworn I took Sword Boomerang. Maybe I didn't. Right now we only have the one card that boosts Rupture, so I wouldn't bother with that. Now let's take Inflame. It also boosts all my other attack cards, even if not as efficient as with Twin Strike. I took Shrug... Oh, right. Yeah, because I said I needed more defense. Okay. So we're gonna go this way. Coolio. Let's see. Let's shrug it off first, see what we draw. Alright, and then we'll uppercut just to get some weak. Hello, Retro Mary. And hello, Decrepit Sundew. Found my stream in a Discord server you're part of. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, hello, Mary. Good to see you, friend. Alright. Yeah, we've got to kill. Kinda sucks we're burning that, but Shockwave Plus. We already get a Shockwave Plus. Yeah, Shearing Blow I will not take if we're on floor 2. Not floor 2, Act 2. But Shockwave Plus. Hell yeah. Let's do some smithing. What do we want to smith? Uppercut is nice. Immolate's pretty solid. Yeah, I did hear Vroid is getting accessories. Ian is very excited about it. Yeah, Inflame's also nice. But that just gives me one solid one extra strength. Honestly, I think I go for Uppercut just to get that extra weak and vulnerable in. Though maybe at some point I should upgrade Bloodletting? Yeah. Alright. Yeah, so we're gonna go this way. Get rid of a few of those artifacts. Do some Inflame. Let's see what we draw with Shrug It Off. Okay. Wild Strike, and let's just get all my cards out. We're not wasting energy because we have Ice Cream. Okay, Shockwave. It'll do nothing against the Spirit Guardian, it'll just get rid of those two artifacts. Ooh. I could just play out Whirlwind. I'll defend in Whirlwind. Alright. Uppercut just to burn those artifacts. Okay. Let's... Alright, we can bash now. Let's bash. Wild Strike wouldn't... Yeah, let's not take too much damage, and now this turn... Oh, damn, it's getting so much block. Stop it. Alright. We got there. I love Limit Break, but I don't think it'll do it for this build. But another Inflame. Yeah, I tend to play a little bit more aggressively. I will say it definitely bites me in the butt, but yeah. Yeah, no, I know it works with Red Skull, it's just... I feel like unless I'm really low on HP, it's not going to do anything unless I've already played Inflame, and that's not going to do much, so most of the time Limit Break would just be a dead card in my hand. That's not to say it wouldn't have been good. Do I upgrade Bloodletting? I think I do. Because that one extra energy, even if I don't have anything to spend it on, will get saved with the Ice Cream. I like Bronze Scales. This is a good fight to have Bronze Scales in. Alright, Shockwave. And I want to see what I get with skill. Okay. So we could get Bloodletting to play out more of these cards. Impervious to take no damage this turn. And I think the other shockwave might be a waste because by the time this all wears off, we should get a kill. I'll take the bloodletting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very much wishing I took fire breathing way back then. And yeah, exhaust cards would also be helpful. Okay. Perfected Strike, Ghostly Armor. Alright. Uppercut. Strike. What's 3 life? I think we don't need the Inflame that badly. If we draw well, we should hopefully get a kill. Okay, sweet. Whirlwind. Vajra! Ooh, yes. Okay. Back Blood for Blood is... I think that'll work with what I have going. Because I'm still taking a decent amount of damage every single fight. And I do have my bloodletting to ensure that I take damage. But I kind of intimidate. Oh, hello, Curry. Thank you. Yeah, intimidate. I'm applying a number of good debuffs here, so I'll take intimidate. Let's do some more smithing. So what's this? 2 weak. That's fine. Yeah, hi bestie. It's good to see you here. Let's see, I could immolate. Power through. I kind of want to do power through. I'm gonna do immolate. Alright. Let's see. So, ghostly armor. I could cleave. That's not even gonna do any damage to you, is it? I can't see, but I think 6 goes to 9 with vulnerable. We can guarantee kill you. That will make me vulnerable. Let's do that, though. Just getting an enemy out of the way. And do remember we've got this block potion, because we'll probably need it. Let's shrug off, see what we draw. Okay. Let's just play an entirely defensive turn here. Set ourselves up to have some good strength later on. Let's see, so we've got Whirlwind. We are taking a bit of damage. Let's Wild Strike. Get through your block. Yep. We're taking a lot of damage. We're probably gonna burn that block potion this turn. Shockwave. Thank you for the hydrate. Okay. We He should have a kill. There we go. Took a bit more damage in that fight than I wanted to. Flame Barrier. That's a nice card. I've got some... I'm kind of playing a balance between defensive and aggressive at this point. Yeah, let's take Flame Barrier. I do want to upgrade that when I can. Alright, we're gonna proc Pen Nib this turn, so let's wait on Cleave. There we go. Metallicize. Interesting. Is that a kill? Whirlwind. I don't think it is, right? 18, 27. So we'll only kill you. Now we're not killing you, so let's actually Perfected Strike you. It's possible I should still play Whirlwind even if I don't have any energy, because that just ticks up Pen Nib. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, because now I have to still burn 2 cards to kill either of you, but now I can't block. I can do 29, so I guess we'll just go for you then. Yeah, Immolate's a kill. Okay. So we're not really an all-in on strength build, but we are just kind of by proxy getting a bunch of strength. So Heavy Blade might not be a terrible take here. Havoc is nice, a little risky because it could end up getting rid of strikes, which powers down my Perfected Strike, but I only have 1 in my deck anyway. And Cleave is just another AoE, which I have a pretty solid AoE setup. Yeah, I think all these cards are actually useful. We'll take another Cleave. Another chest. Bottled Flame. What should we put in here? Maybe Whirlwind? Because we know my enemies are starting with vulnerable, but I also know that I'm starting with weak. So maybe I put an uppercut. Yeah. Okay, 46 life. Do we think we can... I don't think I can. I need the health. This is gonna be a tough fight. Alright, so lead with uppercut and twin strike. Cool. Let's see. Cleave. Then cleave again. And wild strike you. Also intimidate. Let's see... Shockwave, nice. Is that gonna kill you? Yes, it will. Let's do that then. Taking a bit of damage. Immolate's good. Alright. Let's see. Like, I kind of want a Perfected Strike here, because that's 40 damage for 2 energy, but also... I don't want to die. Let's shrug off. Yeah, just play all the defensive cards this turn. Yeah, Bloodletting. Alright. Coolio. Do another shrug off. Okay. I think we can maybe kill the collector in the next 3 turns. So the extra vulnerable's not really... Yeah, I think I want to instead Inflame and Wild Strike. Okay. Do I play the other Inflame? No, we need to go all in on attacks. There we go. Now this turn, we'll... There we go. Whew. Alright, that was a tough fight. I kind of like Energy Potion. Let's get rid of the Dex Potion. Alright. Immolate. Having a second Immolate. But also Fiend Fire, because we are getting a lot of status cards that aren't doing anything, so getting rid of those with Fiend Fire and profiting off of it. But also Berserk, just because extra energy is useful, the downside being that vulnerable hurts. I'm gonna take the Fiend Fire. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Okay. So. Excuse me. Don't take Busted Crown, that card sucks. That relic sucks. I kind of like Mark of Pain, at least with this build. I don't really have a way to benefit off the wounds, but also I'm already adding a bunch of wounds to my deck anyway. And the extra energy every turn is gonna come in handy. Alternatively, Snecko Eye, because it's a Snecko Eye, and I've been playing with this relic a lot recently, and it's starting to grow on me. Plus, the confusion is also kind of like a conditional extra energy, right? Because it can make certain cards cheaper. And some turns you'll have a bunch of cards that are really cheap, and therefore, yeah. Plus, if I end up with a lucky turn where I don't even spend all my energy, that just is really good with the ice cream. So let's take the Snecko Eye. Ah! I hate that. I hate this boss. Okay. We're gonna go this way just so we can pick up the key. I'm gonna try for a heart kill. I know it's not super likely, but we'll give it a go. This isn't great. I'm gonna shockwave, and then also burn my energy potion. Let's go for you. Yep, take damage. Sweet. So, 0 cost in flame. We can bloodletting whirlwind. That's gonna be a kill, right? Do I even need to bloodletting? Because whirlwind is 11 with vulnerable. 11 becomes 16 minimum? It's either 16 or 17. I can't remember if it rounds up or rounds down. And 16 times 3 would be at least 45. That's not a kill. Okay. Do the play that guarantees. Oh, we'll take another wild strike. Okay. Ooh, these are very interesting relics. So Lantern is just solid. Sadly, we can't actually afford the Eternal Feather. That relic is actually pretty good for when you enter fireplaces. You still get a little bit of heal, and that gives you a decent opportunity to just upgrade every single time you hit a fireplace. Brimstone is terrifying. I'm very tempted to take Brimstone, but also, if my fights go on too long, I'm screwed. Yeah, so what do I take here? That is true. I don't really see Brimstone all that often. So, let's take it. And let's take another Perfected Strike. Alright, let's head this direction. Okay. Well. I can Perfected Strike. Actually, if I duplicate, you're dead. There you go. Got a one-turn kill. Okay. I like Thunderclap. That applying vulnerable to all enemies is solid. Sword Boomerang is pretty good with a bunch of vulnerable stuff and strength boosting stuff. Dropkick I would normally say is good, but there's only 2 instances where it's good now because I'm confused. So it's only good if I end up having Dropkick cost 0 or 1. If it costs 2 or 3, it's basically unplayable. I think I'll take it though, because calling it unplayable in certain circumstances refers to all the cards in my deck, right? So, but in a good case, ooh. Uh-huh. Okay, let's focus on the ones that are gonna kill me. And then Fiend Fire this one. Taking a bit of damage here. Okay, so I do have Cleave. Do I power through and cleave, or do I defend, strike, and cleave? I'm gonna power through. Cool. Well, don't have any block. We're gonna immolate. Alright. Pommel Strike. Or another Fiend Fire. We'll take the Pommel Strike. Okay. Oh, this is actually pretty sweet. So we can Uppercut, Strike, Perfected Strike, and Wild Strike. Alright. Okay. So let's power through. And also Ghostly Armor. Not take any damage this turn. Aha. Well, I really don't want to play that Shrug off because it's not that great. Alright, we're taking some damage. Ouch. But we should kill this turn. Okay, Ghostly Armor plus. I think I'm going to take that. Giant Head with 5 strength. We might lose. We'll probably lose this fight. I don't have a lot of good luck with the Giant Head. We're going to burn a Power Potion. Barricade's actually nice. That'll keep me alive. Yeah, we want to play all our non-attack cards first. But now I've got Barricade, I think I do want to power through. Alright. Ghostly Armor. Strike. Twin Strike. Perfected Strike. And yeah, let's play our 0-cost Whirlwind. Just to get that pen nib. Okay. Shrug off, see what we draw. I'm gonna Fiend Fire. Okay. Yeah, Perfected Strike actually is still doing 38 damage. That's nice. Yeah, Play all the non-attacks first. We don't have a way to apply vulnerable, do we? We could pommel strike though and hope. Oh, we drew into it. Hell yeah. Sweet. Ooh, and Cell Form and Clay. Alright, take another Wild Strike. Okay, 40 HP going into another Elite. Yeah, I don't want to risk it. We're getting so close here. Uh-huh, the Reptomancer. This isn't a great hand, but we can make it work. Immolate. And Metallicize, and then have energy left over for next turn. Sweet, a lot of 0-cost cards here. So do I bash the Reptomancer? I think I... My reasoning is if I can kill this thing fast enough... Now here's what I'll do. I'll bash... Strike this one and use my Fire Potion. Power through Fiend Fire. There we go. Yeah, Power Through actually combos really well with Fiend Fire. Alright, we've got our Inflame, and if we want to play 2 cards this turn, it has to be Strike and Wild Strike. Perfected Strike is not a kill. This might... No, it's very close to a kill, but sadly not. However, he will die on the backswing. Doesn't mean I don't take a ton of damage, but okay. Clothesline Plus is actually pretty good. Yeah, I'll take that. Art of War... They'll proc a few times, but here's where we have to take the Sapphire Key if we want a guaranteed chance at going for the heart. Alright, sweet. So, first drop kick, see what we get. Interesting. It's not gonna kill you. See what we get with Shrug Off. Okay. So, Whirlwind. Yeah, definitely should have played the Wild Strike first and then Whirlwind, because I would have liked that one to be Pen Nib instead. Okay. Bloodletting. We can kill you. We're just shy of a kill, aren't we? If we could deal 1 more damage, you'd be dead. Alright. Play defensively. Now this turn, Inflame into Strike will kill. There we go. Interesting, so another Whirlwind. Or Twin Strike Plus. I'll take the Twin Strike. Let's go for... What do we go for? I'm gonna head this direction. Do some smithing. Let's get you upgraded. So I get 2 Perfected Strike Plus. More Darklings. Hello, Gaz. Let's go for you. Okay, interesting. Yeah, Flame Barrier. Little Shockwave. Clothesline? Intimidate doesn't do anything here. Defend? Yeah, does Clothesline actually take any of them out? It does not. Alright, we'll defend. Taking a lot of damage. Amelia Lockhart with the raid? Thank you. Thank you for the raid. Okay, let's... We can't actually do a whole lot here. We can Wild Strike. Go for you. Perfected Strike you. I really want to cleave here, though. Yeah, let's cleave. And hopefully next turn we'll win. Oh, that's so painful. Okay, we do have the win. Bash, Fiendfire. Oh, that was very close. Ooh, another Perfected Strike. Nice. Yeah, I'll do a transformation. Let's do one of these. Sword Boomerang. Okay. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? How's your stream? Yeah, Uppercut is... Well, no, Twin Strike is actually what we want to play with our pen nib. Then we are getting... Alright. Decent amount of damage there. Ooh, Pokemon Unite. Nice. Yeah, I've got a few friends that are really into that game. Okay. Let's... There we go. Another Twin Strike. Hell yeah. Okay. I don't like going into this boss with only 33 health. Thank you for the follow. It's a nobody. I don't like going into this fight with 33 health. But if we want to go for the heart, we have to take the ruby key here. No, go rest up. Thank you so much for rating me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, have a great day. Recall? Yep, let's do it. Take the recall. We just have to hope we win this fight. Alright, we need the regen potion. Okay. Well, thank you for the follow, Queen X Angela. Let's see. We can Pommel Strike. Alright, now we've got our pen nib. Do it the Twin Strike. uppercut, and take no damage. Alright, 7 times 3. We are very close. Okay, clothesline. See what we draw with Shrug It Off. Alright. Next turn we can only play 4 cards. I don't want to play less than 4, if I can help it. Because that means I'll have an even worse turn later on. Okay. Alright, well thank you for the follow, and thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day too, Queen X Angela. Or great night, great sleep, whatever time it is in your time zone. Okay. Let's see, 4 cards. I kind of want to end on Fiendfire. So we got 1, 2, maybe 3, whatever we draw off Dropkick, and then 4. Yeah, so... Oh, perfected strike. Nice! Okay, so 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Do we kill this turn? That's a good question. 1, 2. We did it! Oh, we did it. We ascended. And now we get to try and take on the heart, which I don't think we will. I don't think we'll succeed. The elite fight itself is pretty difficult. But, oh, we made it. Okay, do some smithing. Yeah, I want to smith Flame Barrier. That's going to be good against the heart. Sling of Courage. Interesting. And a fairy in the bottle. Okay, I'll take the fairy. That makes our chances a lot better. Now what do I take? Mind Blast, Wild Strike. Let's take Mind Blast. Alright. Against the Shield and Spear. This is actually pretty decent. So we'll uppercut. I usually go for the spear first. Do we even have a kill against you? Maybe. So Mind Blast is gonna be 41 damage. Fiendfire is gonna be 33. So we go Mind Blast. Yep, okay. Do some Flame Barrier. Not a kill. Shockwave. Sword Boomerang? No, okay. Alright, a bit painful, but we got there. Sweet. Okay, so Immolate is free. And now we kill you with Perfected Strike. Okay. We got the Centennial Puzzle Box, nice. Interesting. Okay, so disarming the heart is actually going to be really good. Alright, we've made it to the heart. Here's where we burn the power potion, see what we get. Demon form. Poggers. Uppercut. Strike. Now, 85 or 44. 85. Twin strike. Alright, that's a good start. Yep. Do your thing. Okay. Ghostly armor. Ooh. Pommel strike, see what we draw. Intimidate. Okay. You want a random expression? Alright, let me grab my die so I can randomize it. Alright. Alright, you get... Ooh. There you go, to O-Face. Alright. Let's... Twin strike. Sword boomerang. Perfected strike. And fiend fire. Alright. Pain, 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 pain. Okay. I'm in a lot of pain. Inflame. Clothesline, just because it's free. Same with Twin Strike. Yeah, so the heart has Invincible. That just means that every turn you can only deal up to 300 damage to the heart. And any damage beyond that is reduced to 0. That's just to prevent you from like combo killing the heart with some crazy ass combo that ends up one-shotting it. Yeah, self-forming clay is pretty good. So alright, yeah, let's just play the whirlwind to proc. Okay. Now perfected strike 148. Hell yeah. Alright. Depending on how this turn goes, we could have a win. We could have a kill. Alright. I don't think we do. Bloodletting gets us more energy. Shrug It Off could potentially draw us something good here. Like maybe a Wild Strike. We have to try. Fuck! I should have played. Oh my god. I misplayed. I should have played Bloodletting first. But it doesn't matter because we couldn't have won anyway. Damn it. Oh, so close. That was a very close fight. Yep. Well, we ascended. And that's a plus. We got 1,490 points. I don't know, I don't really care about points, but there you go. Also, run history. Here's that seed, if you want to give that a try yourself. So, yeah, go for that. Alright, GG. That was, oh my god, we ascended. Made it to Ascension 16 with the Ironclad. Nice. Alright. I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do at the beginning of the stream, which is essentially do a bit of an evaluation of the various relics that I think are good or not. And then I'll swap over to another run, and that'll be the stream. But first of all, I have to switch back to this. Second of all, I saw I got a text from a friend that I'm going to be meeting up with in a little bit, and I need to see what that text was about. So we're going to do just a short ad break. We will be right back, so don't go anywhere. Let's see. There we go. All right. And if any of you are using ad block then or are subbed to me, then I'm still here. But yeah, my model just froze. And welcome back. Yeah, finally using ad breaks for once. Hell yeah. Alright, let's do our evaluation stuff. So, starter relics are just the starter relics, you know. Burning Blood is really nice. It makes the Ironclad one of the most effective at healing itself. So you can afford to play a little bit more aggressively with the Ironclad because of that. Cracked Core is just kind of a must-have. I rarely relic swap the Cracked Core just because I feel so many builds with the defect rely on you channeling lightning. Or channeling orbs in general. Pure Water is nice. It gives you a little bit of extra edge for the one turn that you need it. For like that one extra energy. But also, I find I play a little bit conservatively with the Miracle. And sometimes I don't use it at all during an entire fight. Ring of the Snake is just decent. It gives you more options on your starting turn. That one I could also see relic swapping. So, yeah. Alright, have fun lurking Decrepit Sundew. But, you know, the 2 cards gives you more options. It's nice. Now, let's look at the common relics. Akabeko is like Ring of the Snake is the starter relic late game in your opinion? That's fair. Yeah, drawing cards is very valuable. So Akabeko is insane with certain cards. You know, any card that says it deals damage more than once, like Sword Boomerang, like Bowling Bash if you're playing as the Watcher, stuff like that, it's solid. Even without any of that, it's just an extra 8 damage, which isn't the best thing in the world. Also, it's really good if you're in Wrath, but only if you Arin Wrath before you play any attacks. So, yeah, this is a solid relic. A lot of the times I would take this. Usually when it comes to relics, though, I just get whatever I end up with randomly. So this isn't really an evaluation of should you take a relic or not. It's more of an evaluation of, like, how good is this relic. Anchor is very solid. It gives you defense at the start of the turn, at the start of each fight, which is gonna go a long way. You know, not every fight will start with you being attacked, but the ones that do, you're gonna be grateful you had Anchor. Ancient Tea Set. This one is interesting. It only ever matters every time you go to a rest site, but that 2 extra energy is so refreshing. So, yeah, it's better the more rest sites you go to, but it also means that every boss fight you're going to start with 2 extra energy, which is very useful. Art of War. I find this relic rarely works for me because I almost always end up playing at least 1 attack every single turn. But if you do play around the Art of War, let's say you're playing as the Silent, and you're playing without ever really relying on your attacks to win. This just gives you 4 energy, like minus the first turn, so that's good, but only if you're not really playing attacks. Bag of Marbles, you kind of saw that in the last run. Very solid. It does incentivize you to play aggressively on the first turn, so that is something to keep in mind. And it's not as good with characters that don't rely so much on attacking, like playing attacks on the first turn. Bag of Preparation is the exact same thing as the Ring of the Snake. It just is a thing that other characters can have access to as well. So, again, you know, card draw. If you are playing as a Silent and you pick up Bag of Preparation, you start each combat with 9 cards. That gives you a good selection to kind of plan out your attack. Blood Vial. If you're not playing as the Ironclad, it's a way for you to heal yourself, and if you are playing as the Ironclad, it's a way to heal yourself even more. That 2 HP doesn't seem like a lot, but it does really add up. And if you get the event in, I think it's Act 2, where you get the opportunity to swap out your strikes for bites and become a vampire, this is a way you can trade this relic instead of sacrificing your max HP. That's nice. Bronze Scales. I've seen in the subreddit for this game, not a lot of people are a fan of Bronze Scales. You know, they think it's basically not that great of a relic. I can see why. I don't think this relic is as great as I used to think it was, but I still think it's solid, and, like, the 3 Thorns is... So if you're fighting against the birds, it just means that entire fight you don't have to worry about. You know, just play a bunch of blocks and then they kill themselves. Besides the birds, though, a lot of enemies are only really going to attack you like once or twice every turn. It's going to be... Yeah, the damage really adds up. That's kind of what I'm... It's kind of the inverse of Blood Vial, right? Like, the 2 HP doesn't seem like a lot, but it really grows. Same with Bronze Scales, but it's more in terms of amount of damage that you deal. So, I can see why people don't necessarily think this relic is great, but I still think it's solid. Keep in mind, if your enemy attacks you twice, already you've done 1 strike's worth of damage. So keep that in mind. Centennial Puzzle Box, or Centennial Puzzle. First of all, I'm not a... I basically know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh! But Ian pointed out the other day that, hey, this is a, Easter egg from Yu-Gi-Oh! From the Millennium Puzzle Box, or whatever that is. But yeah, the Centennial Puzzle. The first time you lose HP each combat, draw 3 cards. We talked about with these, the Ring of Snake and Bag of Preparation, that drawing 3 cards, well, drawing any cards, is good. It gives you more selection. Sure, you won't be able to play out all the cards necessarily that you get, but more options is always good. Unless you have, Regret in your deck. Well, thank you for the follow, Maxi. Ceramic Fish. This card. If you get this card, this relic early on, oh, it stacks up real nice. It gets you so much gold. Alright. Damaru, you can only get as the Watcher. Start of the turn, gain 1 mantra. I used to think this relic is really good. Kind of similar to the Bronze Scales. I've kind of stepped back on this relic a little bit. It's still very good, but if you don't have any other way of gaining mantra, chances are you're not going to even realize this relic exists. Because, yeah, pretty much. Hitting Divinity is nice, but if you're only going to hit Divinity on turn 10, you'll probably already be in a good position. The Data Disc. You can only get the Data Disc as the defect. Start each combat with 1 focus. Very good. Alright, thank you for stopping by, Maxi. Thank you for the follow, and thanks for chatting. Have a great day. So, yeah. 1 extra focus is pretty good. That adds up. Sure, it only turns your lightning orbs from 3 damage to 4 damage, but it really adds up. Dreamcatcher, honestly not that great of a relic, because the more I play this game, the more I find I'm not resting as often. There will be times when I rest, and occasionally this relic will matter. And so I end up with, it basically turns rests into something more than just you gaining HP. You actually get something substantial out of it. It's just another chance to add cards into your deck, kind of similar to what you would get from any fight in general, but it's still good. Happy Flower. Every 3 turns, gain 1 energy. Never don't take this relic. This gives you so much extra energy over the course of the game. Just very good. I love the Happy Flower. Jutsu Bracelet isn't great. It does good things, like if you really are hitting up a whole bunch of question mark rooms, then it's like, well, now you're basically just guaranteed to always run into an event or a shop and not an enemy. So it's fine, but it's not great. Lantern. Start each combat with an additional energy. This is pretty solid. It gives you a little bit of extra edge to set up, which, hell yeah, absolutely. That will take you far. Maw Bank. Every time you climb a floor, gain 12 gold. And then it stops working once you spend gold at a shop. This builds up super fast, and if you just kind of don't go for that many shops, you'll have about 500 to 600 gold by the time you enter Act 3. Meal Ticket. This one incentivizes you entering shops. Ways of gaining a bunch of HP, like 15 at a time, are pretty good. Like, if you find you're taking a lot of hits during fights, this is a way to keep your ball rolling and ensuring that you can still upgrade when you enter rest sites. Nunchaku is pretty solid. I will always forget this card's gonna proc, but when I don't forget, that one extra energy will be, like, it'll take you pretty far, you know? I don't think it's as good as the Happy Flower, but it's still very solid. Oddly Smooth Stone gives you 1 extra dexterity. That adds up. You know, it turns your defense from 5 block to 6 block. And that really adds up over the course of the game. Omamori is... Here's the cool thing about Omamori. It can stop you from getting, like, special curses. Like, for instance, the Curse of the Bell, the Necronomicon Curse, like stuff like that, that you otherwise can't get rid of once you get the curse. It'll stop you from getting those. So Omamori is, like, pretty solid, and it gives you, it basically incentivizes you to go down, like, with an event that gives you the option to do something in exchange for a curse. You can just take the event without the downside. So yeah, Omamori, very good. Orichalcum. You'll almost always forget you have this relic. I've gotten better at remembering. It incentivizes you not to play a single defend. Like, if you have a handful of, like, say 4 strikes and 1 defend, instead of just being like, okay, I should play a little bit defensively here, so I'm going to play that 1 defend. No. You're going to play 3 strikes. So, it's not the best relic in the world. There will be turns where you'll be gaining a lot more than 6 block, and so Orichalcum's never going to proc. But on the turns where you are playing aggressively and don't have, and really only have just like 1 defend, or say you have 2 defends, but you don't want to play 2 defends because you want to play 2 strikes, this gives you a little bit extra security. Pen Nib, you saw that last fight. I will never remember when this card's about to proc, and so you need to keep an eye on this relic if you want to play optimally. That said, it's still good even if you're not. It's just the relic will still help you out. But yeah, there's some really insane turns where doubling the damage of your attack with the pen nib will take you far. Let's take a look at Ragnarok. Say you got an unupgraded Ragnarok, 3 energy, 5 times 5 damage. And if you're in Wrath, that's 10 times 5 damage. And if you've got a pen nib that's about to proc, that's 20 times 5 damage. You're dealing 100 damage with a single card. Hell yeah. Potion build. So, I find I'm not that great at using potions. I'm getting a little bit better at it, but I'm still not as great as other more experienced players are. This is at least helpful to me, as in I can stock up on potions and just have a bunch that I can look at using later. Preserved Insect, I think, is very good. Reducing enemies in elite combats by 25% is... it gives you a bunch of extra edge. Like, it means elite fights are going to be easier for you. And also keep in mind, this affects not only the elite itself, but also any minions the elite has. So, say you're going against the Gremlin boss, is that what it's called? The Act 2, the Act 2 elite. All the gremlins it starts with will also have 25% less HP. So, yeah. Red Skull. I believe, by the looks of it, this one is... it's got a red outline, so I think this one is unique to the Ironclad. So this one has its use. You don't want to be below 50% HP, but when you are, this will help keep you alive, because you can play a lot more aggressively and kill your enemies faster while they're about to kill you. Regal Pillow. Whenever you rest, heal an additional 15 HP. This is fine. You're not going to get much out of it if you're not resting a lot, but it does turn your rests a lot better. Smiling Mask. Merchant card removal always costs 50 gold. So normally it starts at normally the removal cost starts at 75, and then it goes up to 100, and then I think 125, and so on and so forth. Making sure it always costs 50 means if you have cards you want to remove, that's great. If you're playing card removal for the sake of thinning out your deck, this incentivizes that. You know, it's not going to be scaling more expensive. Snecko Skull, only applicable to, like, only able to get that when you're playing as the Silent. Whenever you apply poison, apply 1 additional poison. This is pretty solid. You know, getting that bonus poison, it's only really good if you're playing a poison build. But even if you're not, as if you have 1 poison card, that 1 poison does matter. So, yeah. I like Snicko Skull. Strawberry. Upon pickup, raise your max HP by 7. Always gonna be good. You know, getting that max HP up will take it far. The boot. This is an unassuming relic. You're like, well, 4 less unblocked damage, increased to 5. Okay, fine. There are cards where 4... So, keep in mind, 4 or less also means, like, 1. The unblocked part is like, okay, so you get past the enemy's block, you're only dealing 1 damage to them, so they're taking 5 damage. If you're playing shivs and don't have a way to boost those shivs, then it's just dealing 1 additional damage. That's fine. But yeah, this relic is really useful against, well, when you're using cards that deal damage more than once. And so, hell yeah, the boot's great. This also works against enemies that have intangibility, because intangibility reduces all damage that they're taking to 1. But the boot overrides that and says, no, actually you're taking 5. So, hell yeah. Tiny chest is fine. You really want to pick this up early, because that gives you more opportunities to go through more question mark rooms and have a higher chance of coming across treasures. The toy ornithopter. It's a healing source, but it only happens when you use potions. So if you use a lot of potions, go for the toy ornithopter, but if not, it's not going to do a whole lot for you. The Vajra is the strength counterpoint to the oddly smooth stone, starting each combat with 1 strength. This has a feel... So in the oddly smooth stone will be useful pretty much no matter what character or what build you're playing. The Vajra, because there are so many ways for certain characters to win without playing attack cards, having that 1 extra strength with those characters and those builds doesn't really matter all that much. But on builds that do play a bunch of attacks, the Vajra is actually, I think, a little bit better than the oddly smooth stone. Then we got Warpaint and the Whetstone. They both do the same thing, just this is for skills and that's for attacks. 2 random free upgrades is, that takes you... Upgrading cards is not super easy to do. You're allowed to take an upgrade every time you enter a... Yeah, you're allowed to take an upgrade every time you enter a rest stop. But besides that, there aren't that many opportunities to upgrade cards, so just getting free random upgrades is nice. It kind of sucks that it's random, so that means you will oftentimes end up upgrading just like a strike or a defend, but that's still pretty decent. So those are all the common relics. On to the uncommons. So the blue candle, unplayable curse cards can now be played. Whenever you play a curse, lose 1 HP and exhaust it. So being able to get rid of curses at the low cost of 1 HP is pretty good. It does cost you 1 HP, but they're free to play, and it gets them out of your deck. This does not work with cards like the Bell, the Curse of the Bell, that cannot be removed no matter what. But it also enables combos. Like, there are... Like, if you have the Curse of the Bell with the blue candle and, say, 1,000 cuts, then you just can keep playing the Curse of the Bell. It keeps coming back to your hand, and your opponent keeps losing more and more HP. You still lose more HP as well, which is why you really want the Tungsten Rod if you had the blue candle. But this also incentivizes you to play a little bit riskier and take more curses, because you're like, well, I'll just get rid of them, you know? Bottled Flame, Bottled Lightning, Bottled Tornado. You make an attack, a skill, or a power innate, essentially. These are very solid, especially starting with a power, because powers will, you know, have use throughout the entire duration of the game. I find starting with an attack and skill is fine, but not always the optimal thing. You kind of want to draw those randomly sometimes, but still, giving certain cards innate, making sure you'll start every game with them is, you know, that'll help. So the bottled stuff is good. Darkstone Periapt. Darkstone Periapt. Whenever you obtain a curse, increase your max HP by 6. This incentivizes curse taking. It's relics like these, the blue candle and the Darkstone Periapt, and also, is this also an uncommon relic? The Duvu doll, maybe it's a rare relic. Those relics incentivize curse taking, so I will sometimes during various events take curses. So yeah. This isn't always going to come in handy. Sometimes you'll get this relic and then never come across an event that lets you take a curse. Anyway, on to the duality. I still don't really know how to feel about this relic. It's solid. It kind of... So the way it kind of goes, and first of all, you can only gain duality as the Watcher. Basically, it first of all makes you time when you play your blocks, because you have to play your attacks out first to get that extra dexterity. Also, the gaining one temporary dexterity, I believe you can counter that with either artifacts or orange pellets, because it gives you a debuff that says you'll lose dexterity at the end of the turn. So if you have the right setup, you can just gain a bunch of extra dexterity this way permanently. But even if you don't, let's say you've got, 3 energy, 2 strikes, and a defend. You play 2 strikes, and then your defend now no longer gives you 5 block, it gives you 7 block. So it does add up. Eternal Feather. I love this relic. It basically means, especially towards the late game, you no longer have to rest at rest sites. You can just always smith. So I am a big fan of Eternal Feather. Frozen Egg. This one, as well as the Molten Egg and Toxic Egg. These ones, the earlier you pick them up, the better, but they basically ensure that any cards of the certain type that you pick up are guaranteed to come upgraded. So that's great. I love that. Gold-plated cables. This is a defect exclusive relic. Your rightmost orb triggers its passive an additional time. So yeah, orbs all have passives. And just getting that additional trigger is pretty useful. It's not great if you don't have orbs, or if you're not focusing on channeling orbs, but it's fine. It's better the more focus you have. Gremlin Horn. I love this relic. Certain builds, it's not going to matter as much. You know, you won't get the full benefit of the energy because, say you're playing a poison build with the Silent, you're not going to get that extra energy because the enemy dies on their turn, and then you get your energy at the start of your turn. You still get the card draw, but you don't get the extra energy. This is really great against gremlins because gremlins are easy to kill and they usually come in big numbers, and you just kill them all, and then you gain energy and draw cards. So, hell yeah. Horn Cleat. This relic is similar to the Anchor. I believe this is like part of a cycle. So the Anchor starts each combat with 10 block. Horn Cleat, you start your second turn with 14 block. I feel like this one is a little bit more relevant than the Anchor. First of all, it gives you 4 more block on top of that. Second of all, it happens during the second turn, which I think is more likely that you'll be attacked. So, but yeah, it's pretty solid. Ink Bottle. When you play 10 cards, draw 1 card. So this, like the Pen Nib, you will very often forget that it's about to proc. And sometimes it'll proc on the last card you play during your turn, and you won't have any energy for whatever card you do draw. So it's not always great, but sometimes it is. Kunai and Shuriken both do about the same thing, but Kunai increases dexterity, Shuriken increases strength. The Kunai, I feel, is a little bit less useful because if you're playing 3 attacks in a single turn, usually that means you're playing very aggressively and aren't playing that many blocks. Sometimes it will come in handy, but yeah, overall, just the 3 attacks to gain 1 dex, it's fine. It's better than not having it, but yeah, if you're playing aggressively anyway, I guess it just helps you save face on turns when you are taking a lot of damage. Letter Opener. This one and the Ornamental Fan kind of go hand in hand. So Letter Opener, every time you play 3 skills, deal 5 damage to all enemies. this is really good. It incentivizes playing a lot of skills, and you still deal a lot of damage with it. That 5 damage to all enemies isn't a whole lot, but it does add up. Meanwhile, the Ornamental Fan is kind of the inverse of that. While this one is you play skills, and then the relic plays aggressively for you, the Ornamental Fan is you play aggressively, and the relic plays defensively for you. This is really good. The Ornamental Fan is really good with the kunai and the shuriken, because you're going to be playing 3 attacks to proc these, and so you also get the Ornamental Fan proc too. Matryoshka. Next 2 non-boss chests you open contain 2 relics. This one's really good. It's just free relics, basically. You know? You get more relics. And more relics is always good. Meat on the bone. This one is healing. And if you're taking a bunch of damage and having your HP below 50%, you heal it. So, hell yeah. Mercury Hourglass. This relic I hear people aren't really a huge fan of, but it adds up 3 damage to all enemies every single turn. It adds up. After 2 turns, if you have a single enemy, you've done a strike. If you have 3 enemies, you've played 3 strikes for free. So Mercury Hourglass is great. Mummified Hand. Really good. Not great if you don't have any powers at all, but if you have at least 1 power, and there are a lot of powers that cost 1 energy, reducing a random card to cost 0, pretty good. Ninja Scroll, only accessible to the Silent. Starting each combat with 3 shivs. I love having this relic with the kunai, the shuriken, and or the Ornamental Fan, because it essentially guarantees that you get a proc on the first turn. So, hell yeah. It's obviously better in a Shiv specific build, but even if you're not focused on Shivs, it's still really good. We talked about Ornamental Fan. Pantograph. At the start of boss combats, heal 25 HP. This one essentially means whenever you enter the last fireplace before a boss, you are able to just take a free upgrade because you're gonna heal at the start of the boss fight. So yeah, love the Pantograph. It's not as useful if you're not taking a bunch of hits, but if you are taking a bunch of hits, it gives you a chance against a boss. Paper Crane and Paper Frog. Paper Crane is unique to the Silent. Paper Frog is unique to the Ironclad. Enemies with weak deal 40% less damage rather than 25, and the Paper Frog, enemies with vulnerable, take 75% more damage rather than 50%. Both very solid. They are better the more cards you have that apply weak or vulnerable, but when you play those, they're really good. The Pear. You may recognize this similar to the Strawberry. Raise your max HP by 10. Yeah, again, raising max HP, pretty good. Question card. Future card rewards have 1 additional card to choose from. This card well, this relic makes another relic that we'll get to in the boss relics playable. But yeah, normally just having 4 cards to choose from instead of 3 is gonna, you know, more options is never bad. Self-forming clay, exclusive to the Ironclad, and we saw how this relic goes in that last run. Whenever you lose HP, gain 3 block next turn. If you play a bunch of cards that make yourself lose HP, this just helps. Alternatively, if you if you just take a bunch of damage from your enemy attacking you, you get a bunch of block the next turn. So yeah, pretty solid. Singing Bowl, I'm not very convinced by this one. I can see when and why it would be good if you're very picky about adding more cards to your deck. If you really want to keep your deck thin, you can just basically, if you don't have any good selections, just always raise your max HP by 2. And that does add up over time, which is pretty decent. Strike Dummy. Every single character will have cards that contain the word strike. It's obviously a lot better with the Ironclad when the Ironclad has, you know, is playing a strike build, playing a bunch of strikes and twin strikes and wild strikes and perfected strikes. And that 3 additional damage adds up. It turns a basic strike into 1 energy, 9 damage, which is good. Sundial, every 3 times you shuffle your draw pile, gain 2 energy. Similar to the Ancient Tea set, but more difficult to set up and prepare for. This isn't gonna happen at the start of every single game. This is gonna happen in the middle of a fight. But still, pretty good. You know, that 2 extra energy, you'll forget this relic is gonna proc, and then you get 2 extra energy, and it's like, boom, I get extra energy, hell yeah. Symbiotic Virus, only accessible to the defect. At the start of each combat, channel 1 dark. Not bad. You know, it's just only upside, honestly. And channeling dark early on so it can eventually get better and better and deal a ton of damage, really good. Alright, Teardrop Locket, only accessible to the Watcher. Start each combat in calm. Really good. No downside. Having calm, yeah, starting each combat in calm will take you far. You know, you don't have to invest in becoming calm. You just already are. So hell yeah. The Courier. The merchant restocks cards, relics, and potions. All prices are reduced by 20%. I'll forget I have this relic, and then I'll buy a relic at the shop, and then I get more relics, and be surprised. Yeah, the restocking is very nice. Love the Courier. White Beast Statue. This relic is very good. It just stresses me out because I'm like, well, now I'm already bad at playing potions, right? And now I'm basically like, I have to play so many more potions because I'm getting extra potions every single combat. Which is not bad, but also like, ugh. Now I have to think about what I'm gonna do? Ugh. On to the rare relics. Bird-faced urn. Whenever you play a power card, heal 2 HP. Not always gonna be relevant, but if you are playing a bunch of powers, 2 HP every time you play one is really nice. And it adds up. Calipers. So instead of removing all your block, you remove 15 block. It's fine. I don't think it's as great. It's better when you're playing a very block-focused build, which I find hard to do. Part of it might just be because I play very aggressively, but yeah, if you're playing a very defensive build, this is pretty good. But more recently I find that I'll have calipers and have a bunch of block, you know, have more than 15 block, but then the enemy just gets rid of all that block. So, yeah. Captain's Wheel. Part of this cycle of the Horn Cleat and the Anchor. The Captain's Wheel. Yeah, you gain 18 block at the start of your third turn. Which again, very good. Gets you a bunch of extra block. Nice. Champion Belt. Whenever you apply Vulnerable, apply 1 week. Only applicable to the Ironclad. And that 1 week matters. You know, getting extra vulnerable, well, getting extra weak every time you apply vulnerable incentivizes you to make your enemies vulnerable, and hell yeah, it saves face. Heron's Ashes, only accessible to the Ironclad. Whenever you exhaust a card, deal 3 damage to all enemies. This is gonna happen relatively often. If you're playing, like... No, what am I saying? If you're playing an exhaust build, this is very good. If you're not playing an exhaust build, but you do have, let's say, the starting curse of Ascender's Bane, that's just an extra 3 damage AoE. If you're up against the Sentinels, and you're getting dazed a lot, this is really good. But it's very situational. Cloak Clasp. This is unique to the Watcher. At the start of your turn, at the end of your turn, gain 1 block for each card in your hand. This is better if you have a bunch of cards that are retained. So you'll basically end the turn with, say, 5 block. If you played, yeah, say you've got 10 cards that you start with. You play out 3 of them, and then you end the turn with 7 block. Pretty good. Dead Branch. And yeah, this, unless you're playing out your entire hand, you're gonna end the turn with some amount of block, which is good. Dead Branch. This relic is pretty insane. You never know what you're gonna get. And if you're playing an exhaust build with the Ironclad, it's very good. Duvu Doll. Really good if you've taken a lot of curses. Even if you haven't, even if you're just A10 with any character, so you start with Ascender's Bane, that's just 1 extra strength right there. So, hell yeah, Duvu Doll is good. Emotion Chip. Only accessible to the Defect. If you lost HP during your previous turn, trigger the passive ability of all orbs at the start of your turn. That's really solid. If you've channeled a bunch of orbs, then just getting the passive abilities of all those orbs. Oh yeah, that's really good. Fossilized Helix. I love the Fossilized Helix because I love Buffer. And basically preventing the first time you lose HP each combat. So it's something you have to really play around. If you're up against an enemy that's going to do a really big hit against you, you want to block the smaller hits. So then on the turn the big hit is coming, you can play really aggressively and not take any damage. Gambling Chip. Requires a lot of thinking, but it's really solid. If you start your hand and are like, okay, well, these cards, I'm not going to play. Say you've got a bunch of block and your opponent's not attacking you. You just discard all the block cards and draw a whole bunch of extra cards. Really good. Ginger, similar to the turnip, can no longer become weakened, can no longer become frail. Both are very solid, very helpful, will keep you alive, and will get you into situations where your enemy is doing nothing to you. You know, they'll spend their entire turn to make you weakened, and you're like, that didn't do anything to me. So, yeah. The Girya. I love this relic, but here's the funny thing about this relic. You have to be active in order for this relic to do anything at all. What I mean by that is, just by picking up this relic, it doesn't do anything. You have to actively make decisions to make this relic do something. But if you picked it up early and hit up a bunch of rest sites and use the Girya to boost your strength, you set yourself up really, really nicely. So you're starting every turn with 3 strength. Yeah, like it. Golden Eye, only accessible to the Watcher. Whenever you scry 2 additional cards. I don't usually do a lot of scry builds, but scrying is very solid on its own. Like, even if you're not building around it, and getting that 2 additional scry is really nice. You'll end up in scenarios where you play like an upgraded whatever that card is that scries 5. Now you're scrying 7. So that's going to be your entire next hand, if you choose to keep all of those cards, plus 2. Ice Cream, energy is conserved between turns. Not always applicable. Usually you'll find I'm spending all my energy every turn, but if you have a surplus of energy and nothing to spend it on, you can build up energy to where you no longer have to worry about having energy to play cards every turn. Incense Burner, every 6 turns, gain 1 intangible. You're never going to remember when this card procs, but it's going to proc, and then you're going to be basically in a good position to either play entirely aggressively or play really aggressively and only play 1 defensive card. It's not that great against the birds, because if they're doing 1 times 6 damage, you're still taking the full amount of damage. But yeah, Incense Burner, really good. Lizard Tail, when you would die, heal 50% of your max HP instead. So, yeah, basically, it saves you once. You don't want to play recklessly because you have Lizard Tail. This just gives you a second chance. So, it's really good. You'll often forget you have it, and then you're like, oh no, I'm gonna die. And then Lizard Tail procs, and then you're like, oh, I'm fine. So, yeah, do like Lizard Tail. Magic Flower, only accessible to the Ironclad. Healing is 50% more effective during combat. Really good. The Ironclad has a bunch of ways to heal, and this just makes it a lot better. The Mango completes the cycle of the pear and the strawberry, increasing your max HP by 14. Yeah, really good. Old Coin gives you 300 gold. That's a lot of money to spend. Peace Pipe. This one's actually really good, and being able to remove cards from your deck at rest sites. So usually you'll want to be upgrading cards, but sometimes you'll just have a card that you have to get rid of from your deck, like a curse or something that's really screwing you over. This gives you an opportunity at rest sites to do so. Pocket Watch is a card that I find happens very infrequently for me. It might be better for certain builds than others, but yeah, I'll find them very often playing enough cards to where the Pocket Watch doesn't draw you those 3 additional cards. But when it does, getting those 3 additional cards, very useful. Prayer Wheel. Normal enemies drop an additional card reward. Picking this relic up early on means you can basically double the amount of cards that you collect throughout the entire game. So, hell yeah. Prayer Wheel. It's not that great if you're looking to keep your deck thin, but if you really just want to take all the cards you possibly can, yeah, take it. Shovel. I love getting this relic early on. You never know what you're going to get. It does have the downside of basically you can't rest or upgrade if you want to use a shovel frequently, but you'll get a random relic. So, yeah, I like it. Stone Calendar. Only good in slow fights. If you're winning quickly, this is never going to happen to you. But this relic has saved my ass a number of times where I've basically been struggling with, I'm struggling through, let's say, Donu and Deka, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm just not able to win this fight, and then it procs and kills them. And I'm like, whoa, I did not see that coming. Hi Morphe, it's good to see you here. I'm doing good. Specimen. Yeah, how are you all doing? The Specimen. Whenever an enemy dies, transfer any poison it has to a random enemy. This is really good in poison builds. I love this relic in poison builds, because you'll end up in a situation where, one enemy has like 15 poison and then it dies. Well, that's a waste of another 14 poison, but then it goes on to another enemy and it just keeps stacking up. It's really nice. Thread and Needle. 4 plate armor is not a lot, but it stacks up and it will keep you alive. Oh, thank you for the host, Morphe. The Tingsha. This is a exclusive to the this is exclusive to the Silent. Yeah, have fun lurking. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's good in a discard deck. If you're discarding a lot of cards, 3 damage to a random enemy really stacks up. Tori. I love the Tori. This saves my ass so many times. It's like the inverse of the boot. instead of increasing any damage less than 5 to 5, it decreases any damage 5 or less to 1. Saves your ass so many times. There are some fights where it doesn't matter, but sometimes it does. A lot of times it does. Tough bandages. This one is actually similar to the Tingsha. Again, exclusive to the Silent, and very good in a discard build. Tungsten Rod. I love this relic 2 bits. It will save your life a million times over. That 1 less HP stacks up, and it combos really well with a lot of cards. It combos well with the blue candle. It combos well with the Tori, and just, yeah, they're also like powers that the Ironclad will have that makes you lose HP. And then you don't. I love the Tungsten Rod. Turnip, we've covered that. Unceasing Top, you will always, 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 always forget you have this relic, and then you play out your entire hand, and then you go and click the end turn button, and then you discard a card because you drew an additional card off the Unceasing Top. It's not always going to be relevant because you won't have energy after playing out your entire hand, but if you're playing, say, a 0 cost build with the defect, then you just threw away a 0 cost card. So, yeah. Wing Boots is useful. You do kind of like the ignoring paths, and you know, you get to pick your room 3 times, any 3 times during the entire run, which is sometimes good if you have a couple things you want to do at rest sites. You can basically, or if you just love hitting up rest sites because you have the shovel, you can go, you know, rest site into rest site with the Wing Boots. Super nice, but it's a little bit big brain to play with. And then we've got Boss Relics. These are relics you can only acquire after fighting bosses. The Astrolabe. Transform 3 cards, then upgrade them. So it's really nice that it gives you free upgrades, and being able to transform useless cards like Strikes and Defends is super nice. The downside is transforming, you never know what you're gonna get, and it's not always gonna be good. But sometimes it will be very good and will take you very far, and the fact that it gets upgraded immediately is really nice. Black Blood, we saw this in the last run. It replaces the starting relic of the Ironclad, and it doubles its healing factor, so you can play a lot more aggressively and still have a chance. The Black Star. It incentivizes you to go after elites. There's a number of relics that, if you collect over the course of the game, basically tell you go after elites because you're going to have a much easier time with them and you're going to get better stuff out of it. The Black Star is one of them. So if you feel confident against elites, take the Black Star. Busted Crown. Almost never take this unless you're really hurting for a relic that gives you extra energy, and sometimes the one card that you get out of your card rewards will be worth it. I would really only take the Busted Crown if I also had the question card, because then you at least have 2 cards to choose from. The Calling Bell is really fun because it gives you a unique curse. It used to be it gives you 3 random curses as well as 3 relics, and then they changed it to where it's like, no, it only gives you 1 unique curse, as well as the 3 relics. But the 3 relics, for the cost of 1 curse, is usually pretty good. You never know what you're gonna get out of it, but it's nice. Coffee Dripper is risky. These boss relics are very often going to be risks. Certain players will be like, well, I never take any damage anyway because I'm that good, and I'm going to use this to play defensively, so I'll never need to rest. If that's the case, good for you. Take the Coffee Dripper. I don't think I'm at that point yet, so I'll usually pass this one up. I'm a fan of the Cursed Key, and it fits really well if you have the Dubu Doll, or the Blue Candle, or the Darkstone Periapt, or any combination of those, because it's like, cool. Because you're not frequently going to be opening non-boss chests, right? And other than that, it just gives you extra energy. So hell yeah. Ectoplasm. I'm torn between whether this is good or not. Not being able to gain gold, especially if you have certain stacks of relics, hurts. But that 1 extra energy every single turn is really good. So yeah, you have to think about whether or not you want the Ectoplasm. Empty Cage. Free card removal. If you got curses you want to get rid of those. If you just want to thin out your deck by getting rid of strikes or defends, do that too. Pretty decent. I'll take this relic more often now than I used to. Frozen Core. Exclusive to the defect. Replaces your starting relic, and if you end your turn with an empty orb slot, channel a Frost. So you don't start with a Frost, and if you have a bunch of orb slots that aren't full, you're gonna be channeling extra Frost every single turn. So it's useful. It's less aggressive than the Cracked Core, but yeah, it's good. Fusion Hammer, I find I'll take this one more frequently than the Coffee Dripper. Not being able to smith sucks, but sometimes you'll be in situations where it's like, I've smithed all the cards I could ever want. And so you smith, well, then you don't smith, and you just get the extra energy every turn, and it's great. Holy Water, exclusive to the Watcher. Instead of starting with 1 miracle, you start with 3. Thing with miracles is they are extra energy that you can choose when you use them. And having 3 is like, okay, either 3 extra turns throughout the fight you'll have extra energy, or 1 turn you can choose to have 6 energy. Oh, I love you too, Morphe. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Hovering Kite. The first time you discard a card each turn, gain energy. Only accessible to the Silent, and if you're playing a discard build that uses like Tough Bandages and Tinksha, it's another great way. Excuse me. It's just free energy. Hell yeah. Even if your only source of discarding is Survivor, it's good. Yeah, I'm just having a sneezy day. It's like the morning. It's September, so it feels like fall almost, and with fall approaching, mornings are going to be chilly. Inserter, exclusive to the defect. getting an extra orb slot every 2 turns isn't always going to be relevant, but sometimes it will be. If you're channeling a lot, you're gonna want this. I like the Mark of Pain. The shuffling 2 wounds into your draw pile is a downside, you know, because it guarantees 2 dead draws. But if you have ways around that, if you have ways to exhaust those wounds, if you have ways to still draw in spite of the wounds, like for instance with, what's that one? Power Stasis, I think it's called. You know, if you have that, basically I see this card as, I see this relic as almost always take, because the 2 wounds suck, but the extra energy doesn't. It's exclusive to Ironclad, you can't get it with anyone else. The Nuclear Battery, exclusive to the defect. At the start of each combat, channel 1 plasma. It's essentially a free extra energy every single turn, unless you end up evoking that plasma. And even then, it's just like bonus energy the turn you evoke it. So, really good. Pandora's Box. Extremely risky. You'll sometimes be screwed over by this. Transforming all your strikes into defense, all of a sudden you have no way to block, and you've got a bunch of 3-cost powers. You're gonna lose. But sometimes it's really good. So, you never know what you're gonna get. Philosopher's Stone. This card is a trap. This relic is a trap. Do not take it. Philosopher's Stone will kill you. No, I'm mostly joking, but seriously, that 1 strength really matters. It's risky. It's very risky. If you really need the extra energy, take it, but strongly consider not taking it. Ring of the Serpent is the starter relic replacement for the Watcher. Not the Watcher, the Silent. The fact that you're drawing... So, the downside of the Ring of the Snake is you're no longer drawing 2 cards at the start of your first turn. The upside is you're drawing more cards over the course of the game. So unless you win that first or second turn, you're going to be drawing more cards with the Ring of the Snake than you would with the Ring of the Snake. What? Are they the same name? Ring of the Serpent. Yeah, you'd be drawing more cards with the Ring of the Serpent than you would with the Ring of the Snake. Runic Cube, exclusive to the Ironclad. Whenever you lose HP, draw 1 card. There's a lot of ways to lose HP, so you're going to be drawing a lot of cards. Oh yeah, it's good. Runic Dome. Here's the thing about the Runic Dome. I feel it's more playable than I gave it credit for, but still not very playable. Not being able to see the enemy's intent sucks, because then you're like, okay, which enemy do I go for in this situation? I understand the argument that, well, if you have more energy, you can just play out your entire hand and not really think about what you're doing. But if your entire hand is dependent on attacking a specific enemy, then not knowing what that enemy is going to do sucks. Runic Pyramid. Not discarding your hand at the end of your turn. I find this kind of screws you over. Unless you're playing, like, say, 5 cards every single turn, you're gonna be maxing out your hand size and drawing just like 3 cards every turn instead of 5. Sometimes the Runic Pyramid can be good, but not usually, in my experience. Sacred Bark is just kind of like a meh. Doubling the effectiveness of potions is fine. I really don't think this should be a boss relic, in my opinion. It's more like a rare relic. It's fine, just like, oh. Double effectiveness is good, don't get me wrong, but it's not that good. Slaver's Collar is another one of those relics that incentivizes you going after elites, because this relic only matters if you're going after elites and bosses. But when you do, 1 extra energy. Hell yeah. Sneko Eye. Now this card, I have been all over the place. This relic. I've been all over the place with this relic. At first I'm like, oh man, this relic sucks. If I'm playing a 0 cost build with the defect, then all the fact that my cards cost 0 energy doesn't matter because I'm confused, and so my 0 energy cards now cost 3. Hello, Sheepish Vampire. The Slaying of the Spires is going well. We actually ascended with the Ironclad, so I'm up to Ascension 16 with that character. And now I'm just kind of evaluating relics. So, yeah, initially I'm like, Sneko Eye is terrible. Why would you ever take it? You get confused. Here's why it's good. It's not always good. Some builds, you really don't want the Sneko Eye. But here's the evaluation of the Sneko Eye. Your cards will be randomized between 0 and 3, meaning they'll meet in the middle at costing 1.5 per card. You're drawing 7 cards instead of your usual 5. So now, sometimes you'll be screwed over and have all your cards cost 3, and it really sucks. But you'll still have a selection 1 in 7 instead of 1 in 5. Similarly, when you're in a really good position of drawing, on average, your hand costs 1.5, and you're gonna have a couple 0 costs. So it really just gives you more selection, and we'll end up in situations where you pick a bunch of 3 cost cards and they get reduced to like 2 or 1 or 0, and it's really good. Sozu, I used to always take this relic because I'm like, well, I never use potions anyway, so I won't notice. And then I'll end up, like, gaining... I'll end up gaining the extra energy, but I'll be screwed over because I'll, like, end up with the potion that I really want, and then it's like, nope, you took Sozu, you screwed yourself over, bitch. It's not bad. Like, I do still think it's good. It's just not as good as I thought it would be. Tiny House, everyone agrees this is a terrible, terrible, terrible relic, and you should never take it. No, that's not always true. It's still fine. I just think it should be a rare relic. It's not really boss relic material. It gives you a free potion, 50 gold, raises your max HP, obtains 1 card, and upgrades a random card. The fact that it does all 5 of those things for the low cost of 1 relic is fine. But usually there will be better boss relics to take. Velvet Choker. I used to think this relic was really good because I'm like, well, I'm not going to be playing more than 6 cards usually anyway. And then I end up playing a deck that plays more than 6 cards. it's still not bad. You're gonna be screwing yourself over less by taking this relic than you would by taking other relics, like, say, the Philosopher's Stone. But I'd still ask yourself the question, how many of my cards am I playing? If you're playing a zero-cost deck, you do not want the Velvet Choker. It will screw you over. Violet Lotus, only accessible to the Watcher. Whenever you exit Calm, gain an additional energy. So, normally you'd exit Calm and gain 2 energy. This makes it you gain 3 energy. Only really useful if you're using Calm a lot, but when it does happen, you're gaining a ton of energy. So yeah, I like the Violet Lotus. Wristblade. I love the Wristblade. Only accessible to the Silent. You start the game with a 0-cost card, so all of a sudden, that's an additional 4 damage every time you play it. But on top of that, you know, say you are playing a specialized build, such as a Shiv build, your Shivs are going to be dealing a ton more damage than they usually do. I love the Wristblade. Sometimes it will do next to nothing. But I find I'll often have at least one Shiv in the Silent, like when I'm playing the Silent, so that's pretty good. And on to the event relics. These are relics that can only be obtained through certain events. Looks like I don't actually have these relics. Interesting. I don't know what those are. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. But, Bloody Idol. This one you obtain by trading out the... you trade out the Golden Idol, right here, for the Bloody Idol. So whenever you gain gold, heal 5 HP, that stacks really nicely. You gain a bunch of HP. Cultist Headpiece is just a gimmick. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't help you. It just, you say caw at the start of every single fight. In Enchiridion, is that how you pronounce that? Getting a free power card every single combat is nice. In order to obtain this relic, you have to, you know, pay a bunch of HP and get yourself stuck with a curse that you can't get rid of. But that free power card, depending on what power you get, and a lot of the times no matter what power you get, that free power card is really good. You know, getting a free demon form, hell yeah. Face of Cleric. This one is obtained by the face swap event, where it's like, you know, 50% chance of getting a good face. This is one of those good faces. At the end of combat, raise your max HP by 1. Not a lot, but it stacks up real quickly. If you start with the Face of Cleric early on, you'll have a lot of max HP by the end. Golden Idol. Enemies drop 25% more gold, and usually you'll want to take this. Sometimes I'll take the injury, sometimes I'll take the damage. Some people will take the lose max HP, which, good for you if you do that, but I don't. I rarely do. Gremlin Visage. It's one of the downside 50% chance of that event. You know, that happened to us in that last run. You start each combat with weak. You can counter that by having a way to get an artifact. But if you don't, you kind of screw yourself over the start turn. Mark of the Bloom. You can no longer heal. Okay, so this one is obtained by that one event where it's like you upgrade all your cards, but you can no longer heal for the rest of the game. So that's what this is. Super risky. But yeah. Mutagenic Strength. So this is obtained by the creepy stranger that's like, hey, want to be part of an experiment? So, Mutagenic Strength, start each combat with 3 strength and then you lose it, so it incentivizes you to be aggressive at the start of that turn, but if you have, say, orange pellets, then you can lose that debuff of losing 3 strength, and then you just start each combat with 3 strength. So that's nice. Niloth's Gift. Niloth can ask you for a relic, and in return for that relic you get Niloth's Gift. Triples the chance of finding rare cards. So yeah, just better chances of finding rares. Hell yeah. The Necronomicon. This relic, obtained by that same event where you lose a bunch of HP and get stuck with a curse. The first attack played each turn that costs 2 or more is played twice. So that one happened. So yeah, sometimes I'll end up in a build where this doesn't do anything, and I feel really bad. But a lot of times you'll have like at least 1 card in your entire deck that costs 2, and getting it to play twice, or getting to play a 3-cost card twice also is a nice feel. Meow's Lament. This is obtainable at the start of each run, where you talk to Meow and he's like, do you want to make your next 3 enemies have 1 HP? And you're like, yes, because I want to try and snipe an elite. Really nice if you can snipe an elite. Even if you can't, it gives you a nice setup for your first 3, easy fights, so you can build up your cards in your deck and maybe obtain a few relics along the way. Nilaria's Codex. At the end of your turn, you may shuffle 1 of 3 random cards into your draw pile. So to obtain this, you lose a bunch of HP. But yeah, just getting 1 of 3 random cards into your draw pile is fine. It's not perfect. Sometimes it'll screw you over. But, Odd Mushroom. This you obtain in the event where you fight. You can choose to fight 3 of those parasite things that are infesting rats. And if you end up with the Odd Mushroom, making it so you being vulnerable, you only take 25% more damage instead of 50. Really helps. Oh my god, it's Haas! Haas, our old friend, has returned. Let's ban this person real quick. Come on. Love that. Love that very much. But, whatever. Okay, so, yeah. Odd Mushroom. Very good. Red Mask. At the start of each combat, apply 1 week to all enemies. Sometimes you will... So you can obtain this relic in 2 ways. One of them is to throw away all your money. And the other way is to do a tough fight. So, yeah. It is what it is. Anyway. Yeah, next up. The Serpent Head. This is obtained by the same event where you can swap out your face for a random face. Whenever you enter a question mark room, gain 50 gold. Straight up good. The Warped Tongs. This is... So if you take this, you get a curse called Pain. And pain is painful. But randomly upgrading a card in your hand at the start of every single turn is... I think it's pretty good. I'll often end up taking this. Sometimes it's not all that good. If you have, say, Apotheosis, then you're like, no, I won't take the pain, thank you. Alright, let's look up what these 2 unknown relics are. So, swap to Google real quick. What are these unknown relics? Yeah, event relics, slay the Spire. What do we have? So we've got Spirit Poop. Interesting. So what's the Spirit Poop? Aha! So if you're at the Bonfire Spirits and you trade away a curse, then you get the Spirit Poop. And the Spirit Poop says at the end of your run, you lose 1 point. Interesting. Interesting, yeah. So this has never happened to me because I never give the spirits a curse. But, okay. What else do we have? Bloody Idol, Face the Relic, Gremlin Visage. What am I missing here? Niloth's Hungry Face. Okay. Ah. Why do I not have that? I could have sworn I've ended up with Niloth's Hungry Face before. But yeah, it's a, it's the Face Trader event again, and the next non-boss chest you open is empty. So, yeah. That is what it is. Alright, on to the shop relics. These are relics that you can only get from the merchant. Start with the Brimstone. We saw the Brimstone in that last run. At the start of each turn, you gain 2 strength, and all your enemies gain 1 strength. This is a ticking clock. You have the advantage of gaining more strength than your opponents, but you're still having to face the fact that your opponents are gaining a bunch of strength. So you have to win quickly with the Brimstone. The Cauldron. Upon pickup, brew 5 random potions. I rarely ever take this. I am not a potions user person, so yeah. But, you know, sometimes we'll get good potions out of it. Chemical X. I love Chemical X if you have X cards. If you have X cards, any X card at all, even if you're playing it for 0 energy, you still get it times 2. So, yeah, I like Chemical X. Only pick it up if you have an X card, otherwise you just wasted money. Clockwork Souvenir. Start each combat with 1 artifact. This seems pretty solid. You know, it's not easy to get artifacts in the game, and this is a guaranteed way of doing that. Usually you want to use artifacts to counteract your own debuffs, but sometimes just counteracting a debuff an enemy is applying to you is also really nice. Dolly's Mirror. You get to copy a card in your deck. So if you have a really good card, you can copy it. I do like Dolly's Mirror. I won't always take it, but sometimes I will. Frozen Eye. When viewing your draw pile, the cards are now shown in order, so you'll know what you're drawing every single turn. This is really good if you're good at thinking ahead and planning ahead and all that sort of stuff. I'm not, so I don't really have much use for the Frozen Eye. Hand Drill. I love the Hand Drill. When you break an enemy's block, you apply 2 vulnerable. So you get through all their block, and then you make them vulnerable. And if they are an enemy that likes getting block every single turn, and you keep breaking through that block, you just stack up the vulnerable, and they're basically vulnerable for the rest of the fight. Lee's Waffle. Upon pickup, raise your max HP by 7 and heal all your HP. I mean, it's great. It's a better strawberry, because you heal all your HP when you get it. I'll very often be relieved when I see this in a shop, because I'll be like very close to dead, and then I enter a question mark room, and then it's like, oh, it's a shop, but Lee's Waffle, and then I save myself. Very nice. The Medical Kit. It's the status event. It's the status equivalent of the blue candle. It makes it so you can play cards that give you status cards as a downside, and then it's like, well, there was no downside to begin with. The Melange. Whenever you shuffle your draw pile, scry 3. This is exclusive to the Watcher. And yeah, you know, every time you shuffle your draw pile, you scry. Solid. I'm not too stoked about it, but it's still pretty good. Membership card, 50% discount on all products. I will almost always take this relic if I see it in the shop. Sometimes you won't be able to afford another relic after you buy the membership card, but it's really nice. It basically means future, and it stacks really well with the courier. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Orange pellets. Everyone loves the orange pellets. Whenever you play a power, attack, and skill in the same turn, remove all your debuffs. There are some debuffs that you can give yourself in order to give yourself an edge in the fight, and if you have a power, an attack, and a skill to play, you just get rid of that debuff. Oh yeah, it's one of the best relics in the game if you use it to its full potential. Orrery. Upon pickup, choose and add 5 cards to your deck. So similar to the Cauldron. But with the Orrery, it's cards. It's fine, you know. Getting 5 cards is nice and fine. It is what it is. Prismatic Shard. This relic is just funny. Being able to get colorless cards as well as other colored cards with combat rewards is just a meme, but it leads to being able to it leads to the potential of being able to combo certain cards that you otherwise would never be able to combo. So like if you have, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but you know, there are cards that the Watcher would really like to have from the Ironclad, so that just gives you access to those. It's really nice. The Runic Capacitor. Start each combat with 3 additional orb slots. This is exclusive to the Defect, and not bad. If you're channeling a bunch of orbs, it's just free real estate. Sling of Courage. Start each elite combat with 2 strength. Hell yeah. Kick those elites' ass. The Strange Spoon. Cards that exhaust when played will instead discard 50% of the time. Sometimes this isn't great. Sometimes it is. Usually it is. So yeah, the Strange Spoon. Getting that exhaust, getting cards that normally exhaust to not exhaust feels super nice. Like, say you're playing with the Defect and you have a... what's that card called? Oh, it's bothering me. Hang on, I need to go to the card library. Blue. Genetic Algorithm. That's it. If you have Genetic Algorithm and it doesn't exhaust, you get to redraw it, and it's nice. The Abacus, whenever you shuffle your draw pile, gain 6 block. Pretty solid. Just gives you a bit of defense. Toolbox. At the start of each combat, choose 1 of 3 random colorless cards and add the chosen card into your hand. That's fine. Some colorless cards are really good, but some aren't, and you'll just end up like, I could do without. And finally, the Twisted Funnel, only accessible to the Silent. At the start of each combat, apply 4 poison to all enemies. Very solid. It just gives you an extra little boost at the start of the combat, and hell yeah, you'll love to see it. So, there are all the relics, my kind of take on all of them. I gotta say, I'm kind of hungry. It is almost 2 o'clock. I have only eaten breakfast today. I said I was going to do another run, but I got a friend coming over in a little bit, and I need to eat before then. So, let's just find someone to raid, shall we? Thank you all for stopping by. I had a good time. And hell yeah, poggers, we ascended, and our stream didn't crash. So that means I think I'm going to do another drunk stream tomorrow. We'll try Sea of Thieves. If it doesn't work out, then we'll have to... Yeah, we'll try Sea of Thieves. If that ends up crashing, we'll maybe switch to something else. Alright, but for now, let's see who we want to raid. Should we raid Haru or Sky? Let's raid Haru. Yeah. Alright, let's raid. So Haru is playing Fallout New Vegas. And when we get there, you can type in our raid message, Haru Hugs. If you are subbed to me, which it is September, so all subs are 20% off, you can have this cute little Haru emote along with 4 others. And yeah, you can copy and paste when we get there. Send Haru our love. Thank you all for stopping by. I had a good stream. I'm gonna go eat now. Bye bye.
Oh, hello, Haru.